This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Deidara vs Sasuke is one of the best fights in the Naruto series. You may say that this fight is pretty boring, and a lot of people say that Sasuke had plot armor, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Let's analyze this fight, and when doing so, we'll see how you write a proper shonen battle. So the main complaint that people have with this fight is how it ended with Sasuke winning and Deidara exploding and Sasuke just getting away. Now you can't be that simplistic when you analyze a fight like this. First of all, plot armor is just a term thrown around when people see a character that lost that they think should have won the fight, but plot armor doesn't exist. The victory or defeat of any given character in any given fight is done to further the story and character development. Every single character has plot armor because they are written by a human being with an intent while he or she is writing the story. So yes, characters are going to survive fights and lose fights according to the story. Now you can say that the way the author goes about making a character lose doesn't make much sense, but this is more a mechanical problem in the writing than anything else, in most cases at least. And it's not the case at all in the Deidara vs Sasuke fight. But let's begin by the beginning of the fight. A lot of people complain that Sasuke and Deidara didn't really have a big relationship prior to the fight, therefore the fight didn't have any stakes and the fight was kind of boring because of it. And yeah, they weren't really that connected as characters. They didn't really know the other existed. I mean, Sasuke didn't know Deidara's existence. Deidara knew who Sasuke was, obviously, but they didn't have a history together like Sasuke and Itachi, or even Naruto and Pain, who shared Jiraiya as a master. Still, it's not necessary for every single fight in a series to be between two characters that have a history or they're connected in some way. And this mirrors real life in a sense, because not every time you're gonna play against someone in a sports tournament, you're gonna know that person. Sometimes you just play with random people, and sometimes even when you're fighting in a war in the real world, you fight against people you have no clue who they are. And in this case, it's not even that they didn't know who they were. Deidara knew who Sasuke was. He was actually after Sasuke because he hated Itachi so much, and he wanted to see if he would be able to defeat Itachi's brother so that he could try and face Itachi eventually. It was a test run. And also, Deidara wanted to assert his dominance to make Itachi feel belittled. Deidara's relationship with Itachi is very interesting. You can say Deidara is kind of a one-dimensional character because all he cares about is his explosive art. That's actually a very interesting trait. It's obvious that Deidara is insane. He likes his explosions. He values art above all else, and he believes that his own art is the best there is. When he sees Itachi facing him like a god in that confrontation they had, Deidara realizes, how can someone be so perfect? How can someone have art so much better than mine? That pisses him off so much he holds a grudge against Itachi for essentially no reason. Yeah, Itachi kinda humiliates him in the fight, but Itachi doesn't kill him, doesn't harm him or anything like that. He just beats Deidara soundly. And that's enough to make Deidara go after Sasuke just because he is Itachi's brother. Sasuke, on the other hand, wants to find Itachi's location in that fight. That's his only goal. He doesn't want to even kill Deidara if he could help. He's just asking Deidara the entire time, where's Itachi? When Sasuke deals that punch against Deidara when they were both pretty tired, he could have easily come with a kunai and killed Deidara at the spot, but he wanted Deidara alive so that he could question him. He even states when he lands a Chidori that he missed a vital spot on purpose. So Sasuke is in character there as well. He's not a bloodlusted killer or anything like that. He just wants to find Itachi's location because that's his actual target. So even though the characters don't share a history, this is still a fight with high stakes and interesting motivations for both characters. Another very great thing about this fight is how the powers of the two characters interact. And this is something Kishimoto does extremely well. Sometimes Kishimoto crafts characters with powers that are made to clash against each other. Take Kidomaru versus Neji, for example. Essentially every single Sound 4 member against the Genin cannons of the Leaf Village that they fought, they were meticulously made so that they would fight against each other and their powers would interact in a very interesting way. Deidara and Sasuke are pretty much like that. Sasuke's lightning style is a perfect counter for Deidara's jutsu, and this was set up in the arc before when Naruto faced Kakuzu and they learned about the elements, that earth style, it is weak against lightning, and we can see that the explosion style Deidara uses has some earth style element to it, and that's something Sasuke uses to his advantage, and we can see his intellect by just finding out, oh, okay, he's weaving earth style hand signs. This is pretty interesting. I'm gonna use lightning style to counter it. However, when the fight starts, Deidara is about to explode his explosives that were hit by the Chidori needles. However, he doesn't do so, and it's ambiguous for Sasuke because the explosives landed close to Toby, so Sasuke thought, oh, maybe he didn't explode them because they landed close to his ally. And that's something that puts doubt in his mind, which makes the fight even more interesting as he goes forward. And then comes one of the coolest strategies in all of Naruto. Apart from the Shikamaru strategies in part 1 especially, when he uses 1,000 moves to catch the opponent off guard like against Temari and against Ayuya, this strategy Sasuke comes up with to bring Deidara down from his dragon is one of the coolest things in the entire series. So Deidara is flying there, okay? And he is bombing Sasuke from above. Sasuke doesn't really have reach. Maybe he could have tried fire style. That's something, oh, okay, maybe he could have tried that, but it's safe to assume that Deidara will be able to dodge like a fireball or anything like that. So Sasuke didn't effectively have reach, especially because Deidara blew up one of his wings in the curse mark stage. So what does Sasuke do? He tosses his sword laced with lightning, and he pretends he uses the sword as leverage because he would know that the place the sword landed didn't have any of the mines Toby laid on the ground. Sasuke actually aimed for a mine, so he was testing to see if the mine was going to be deactivated by the sword, and it was. So Sasuke found out, okay, lightning style is very good against this guy here, it's gonna work. And then Sasuke does that dab pose as he lands on the sword. That's one of the coolest shots in Naruto, but he pretends he used the sword as leverage, finding out a position where the mine wasn't on the ground, still deactivating the mine, confirming his hypothesis that he theorized before when Toby asked Deidara not to explode his explosives. And then he comes upon Deidara and brings him down from his dragon, also using the 2 shurikens that he tossed before to make Deidara come closer to him so that he could jump and actually reach him. Deidara then falls in his entire minefield, exploding everything. It's a very nifty scene. Before we continue, I'd like to talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace, which is the best tool out there for you to create your own website. Squarespace makes the process of making your website much easier than you expect. You don't have to hire someone that knows code, you don't have to do anything like that, you just have to log in their website, and their tool allows you to create websites with professional quality. And the tools that are available to you are easy to use and very intuitive. They have several templates for you to choose from. You can customize your website exactly how you want. It doesn't matter what you want the website for. You can be a blogger, you can be an artist wanting to spread your art around the world, sell your things on the website, they can do all that stuff. So go to Squarespace right now and you can get a free trial for a month, and then when you're ready to launch your website, head to squarespace.com/Diagonite to get 10% off. Now let's get back to the video. Then Deidara uses his trump card, the C4 Karura, which is one of the scariest, most deadly jutsus in the entire series. And I'm not joking about it. Imagine if Deidara used that against the Shinobi Alliance. He could have wiped out an entire battalion of 20,000 ninjas. Because it's very difficult to counter Deidara. You have to have lightning style. You have to figure out that lightning style can counter the explosion style, which is not something everyone can do. Even someone with lightning style may never figure that out. And when you talk about C4 Karura, you have to see chakras. Sasuke is able to look at the cloud of nano explosives that's coming towards him. Okay, I have to do something about this. Let's Chidori myself right now so that I can defuse the explosives that I breathed in. And that's what I talk about their powers interacting so well. By doing this, Kishimoto Kishimoto is able to make the fight very dynamic. One time, one of the characters is at top, and then the other character comes up with a counter strategy. Sasuke, oh, okay, I can do this, I can do that. This fluctuation between highs and lows is what makes a fight interesting. Sasuke then uses his genjutsu, which Deidara thought he could counter because of his encounters with Itachi and his training of his eye, but he can't, and that's a part of the story too. An interesting theme: no matter how much Deidara tries to improve his art, the Sharingan is something simply above him. It's better than his art, and that's never going to change. Twice, Deidara thinks he destroyed Sasuke, and twice, Sasuke catches him with his genjutsu, and this isn't the case. Deidara will never be an Uchiha. He can never achieve such beautiful art. And upon seeing Sasuke's cold gaze when they are all very, very tired, Deidara gets outraged because Sasuke doesn't care at all about Deidara's art whatsoever. He only wants to know where Itachi is. And that does it. Deidara's gonna go for the final attack, the C0, which is the size of a tailed beast bomb launched by the 10 tails. By that point of the story, the C0 is extremely insane. I mean, you can see the size comparison with the cities around it. It's very powerful, to say the least. Now, bear in mind that Sasuke didn't really fight against Deidara alone here. He fought against Tobi too, so even if you come with the argument that Deidara didn't lose because he killed himself in the end, Sasuke was technically fighting two characters because Tobi definitely helped in the fight laying those mines on the ground. And we could even say maybe Sasuke fought against 1.5 characters because obviously Tobi wasn't going all out against Sasuke. And then Deidara explodes himself. Sasuke uses the reverse summoning, and this is the main issue people have. The first thing people point out is that Sasuke didn't have chakra to summon Manda, and I don't know why people say that because it's very easy to see that this is not the case. When Deidara was about to explode himself, Sasuke had his Sharingan activated, meaning he still had chakra left. And you can say, oh, but the Manda summoning takes a lot of chakra established in Naruto Part 1 when Naruto has to call in the Nine Tails chakra to summon Gamabunta, and they are relative to Manda and all that. But Sasuke has a very large pool of chakra in Shippuden too. Everything lines up pretty well. Jiraiya was able to summon Gamabunta in the three-way deadlock in Part 1 while he was pretty tired and drugged by Tsunade, and now Sasuke is able to summon Manda while tired as well, but they were not out of chakra when they did that. And if you say Sasuke is not as powerful as Jiraiya, Sasuke stomped Orochimaru. Now sure, he was a weakened Orochimaru, but the way Sasuke stomped him was so humiliating that, yeah, Sasuke is more powerful than a Sanin in this point of the story by a large margin. Also, Sasuke stomped Orochimaru while he didn't have Orochimaru absorbed, obviously because he would absorb Orochimaru after that fight, so the Sasuke who fought Deidara was actually stronger than the Sasuke who fought Orochimaru, and that Sasuke is already stronger than Jiraiya. So yeah, this is not a plot hole or plot armor as people like to say, because Sasuke was never out of chakra. He was panting and he was hurt because he had to Chidori himself to defuse the nano explosives inside of his body, but that doesn't mean he was out of chakra. And the other indicator of that is because Orochimaru didn't immediately emerge, because that's what would happen when Sasuke was out of chakra, because Sasuke's chakra wouldn't be there to contain him anymore, just like it happened in the Itachi fight. And if you just count the amount of jutsu Sasuke uses in the fight against Deidara, it's way less than the amount of jutsus Sasuke uses against Itachi in their final confrontation. So yeah, Sasuke is able to summon Manda because he still has chakra. The other thing people complain about is that summoning Manda was way too fast, but that's also foreshadowed during the fight itself. The first thing that happens in this confrontation, Deidara tosses a bomb on Sasuke from above before they even see each other, and Sasuke summons a smaller snake, but still he summons a snake to counter the explosion. And that happens borderline instantly. It's essentially the same thing happening with Manda. It's the split-second summoning that's gonna take Sasuke out of there. Now there's the other aspect of the reverse summoning, which was the first time we saw where a character can use his summon to essentially escape via teleportation by teleporting with the summoning back to this origin place of the summoning. And yeah, I could see you arguing that this could have been foreshadowed, and it could have. I agree with that point, but just think about it. If this massive snake swallows you and you are controlling it with your genjutsu, because that was Sasuke's plan. He was controlling Manda's movements bit by bit. Sasuke unsummons Manda. What do you think is going to happen? Is Manda going to go and Sasuke, who is inside of Manda, stay? Because that doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, if Manda ate someone, if it was an enemy, when Manda returns, would the corpse of this person Manda swallowed stay behind? I would think not. So it makes sense for Sasuke to go with a big snake. And also, this isn't an instant teleportation thing because we can see Manda was very heavily wounded. Manda took a lot of the explosion. It wasn't like the entire blast, otherwise Manda would have been disintegrated, but Manda still died. Furthermore, Sasuke escaping C0 in the end of the fight connects everything together thematically, because if you remember, the theme in this fight, especially regarding Deidara, is that his art is inferior to the Sharingan. When he saw Itachi in their first meeting, he saw that the Sharingan is essentially perfection, and he is striving to become better than it, to make his art supersede the Sharingan's art, and in the end of the fight, the Sharingan still beats Deidara's ultimate art of explosion, the C0, the one explosion Deidara has to sacrifice himself for. Deidara dies a failure because his art could not surpass the Sharingan's art, which is tragic, but tragic endings can be good as well. It's not every character that needs to be taught Nujutsu'd. Watch this video right here for more interesting Naruto content. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.